What is up, YouTube, and welcome again to another delicious episode of Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky, which is also delicious. I am Probo43, as always, along with Thermite 917 and Kane Jr. 88. The biggest racing weekend of the year has came and gone, and we had some NASCAR from Charlotte. Starts with the Xfinity Alsco 300 and the 60th running of the Coca-Cola 600. Kane, you've got 4 stages of frickin' racing to cover. Cover it all.
I will. William Byron started on the pole, and then the first caution came out on lap 23, so it didn't take long, but Eric Jones cut down a right front tire at the exit of turn 4 and just pancaked the right side of his car. Under the pit stops, Kyle Busch wins the race off of pit road and assumes the race lead on the restart. Moving on to lap 48, Matt DiBenedetto pops a right front tire, and he hits the wall in turn 2, bringing out another caution. This time, Kevin Harvick grabs the lead on pit road. Then Kyle Busch retook the lead on the restart and took off momentarily before Harvick got back around him, bringing Martin Truex Jr. with him into second. Truex then gets around Harvick, and he takes the lead for himself, but then on lap 73, Truex tagged the wall while leading, coming off of turn 4 after cutting down another right front tire, the third Toyota to have that problem in that stage. Some drivers elect to stay out under this caution while the leaders come in, handing the lead to Daniel Hemrick, with Kevin Harvick winning the race off and restarting in 8th. Brad Keselowski, who also pitted, worked his way through the pack and eventually grabbed the lead. Then, on lap 85, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got spun off the nose of Kyle Busch, but thanks to the new AstroTurf in the infield, Ricky's splitter remained intact and no damage was done. One lap after the restart, on lap 90, Daniel Hemrick stayed out again and was falling through the pack before he cut across Clint Bowyer's nose and put both of them into the outside wall down the front stretch, bringing out yet another caution. So this leads to a 5-lap shootout to decide Stage 1, which goes to Brad Keselowski. 4 of the leaders stay out under the stage-ending caution. Denny Hamlin then grabs the lead on the restart and holds it until lap 127 when Chris Buescher cut a right front tire from damage he suffered from hitting the wall earlier. Chase Elliott and several others, having pitted under the stage caution, stay out while the rest of the leaders pit. On the restart, Ryan Blaney takes the lead on a 3-wide pass down the backstretch before losing it to the fresh tires of his teammate Keselowski. Lap 161 comes and Denny Hamlin blows a right front, the 4th Toyota to have that problem, bringing out a yellow. William Byron gets the lead with a 12.5-second pit stop, but he doesn't hold it for long as once again Keselowski goes to the point. And that brings us to lap 188 when Ryan Preece blows a right front. That's the 2nd JTG car to have that problem. And this time, several cars stay out to try to score some stage points. William Byron inherits the lead before losing it to his teammate Alex Bowman, before, once again, old Brad K on fresh tires grabs the lead and takes the Stage 2 win. One of the coolest moments of the weekend came during the stage break, as after the caution came out, NASCAR brought all the teams to pit road where they shut off their engines and had a moment of silence to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for this great country of ours. So during the pit stops, Keselowski, Bowman, and Byron come in while most of the leaders stay out, Keselowski believing he had a loose wheel. So Kyle Busch inherits the lead on the restart and holds it for about half the stage until lap 250 when Bailey Curry in one of 3 Rick Ware Racing shitboxes gets spun out by second-place Martin Truex Jr. at the exit of turn 2 and pounds the inside wall to bring out yet another caution. Truex wins the race off pit road and holds off Kyle Busch to retain the lead on the restart, and the stage goes green the rest of the way, and for the second time in 2019,
Stage winner, MTJ.
Thank you, Clayton Hughes. Chase Elliott wins the race off pit road, and he grabs the lead, and he's able to hold the lead until lap 310 when Kurt Busch got loose underneath Ryan Blaney and bounced off his brother Kyle, spun through the turf, back into traffic where Kevin Harvick just barely missed him. So just after the restart then on lap 315, Kyle Larson has a problem, spins into the middle of the pack, taking out Austin Dillon, Clint Bowyer, Ty Dillon, and Ryan Preece, as well as Paul Menard and David Reagan, who bounced off of each other to avoid the spinning 42 car. So with less than 50 to go after the restart, Martin Truex Jr., he grabs the lead from Chase Elliott, but then, Denny Hamlin, once again, another right front tire goes down, and he hits the wall, setting up what should be the final stops for the night. MTJ wins the race off of pit road, and he retains the lead on the restart. And this is when things get interesting, as with just 10 laps to go, Brad Keselowski, who had won the first two stages, he cuts down a right rear tire and spins into pit road, but it still brings out a caution and a whole shitload of suspense. Because Ryan Newman wins the race off by taking two tires, and David Ragan stays out. And this is going to be a shit show. The restart comes with 5 to go, and Truex takes Ragan, Newman, and Kyle Busch 4 wide down the backstretch and holds off a hard-charging Joey Logano to win his 3rd win of the season, his 2nd Coke 600, and the 22nd win of his career. Joey Logano finishes 2nd with Kyle Busch 3rd, Chase Elliott 4th, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rebounding from his spin to finish in 5th. And the rest of the top 10 are Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Jimmy Johnson, William Byron, and Kevin Harvick. And now some stats. There were 16 cautions for 80 laps. Margin of victory was 33 hundredths of a second. There were 30 lead changes and an average speed of 124.074 miles per hour. So let's hear some ratings. Thermite, we will start with you because you haven't said a goddamn word.
Well, that's not my fault, damn it. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, I think. I was worried not much was going to happen in this race. The package worked for the All-Star, we all know that, but I didn't know how it was going to work for a full 600 miles, but it didn't disappoint. Restarts were insane, which we knew they would be, but for one of the first times this season, we actually saw some incidents as a result of the crazy racing. Handling actually seemed to be a factor out there. And it made sense because, I mean, the Coke 600 is supposed to be a tough race, and it's nice that it lived up to that. Also, no one dominated the whole race either. There were a lot of comers and goers, and it helped that the strongest cars of Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr. had their issues spread throughout the race, and that sure kept things interesting. But also, it was cool to see Truex recover from all that, and he certainly earned that one, so congrats to him. It just felt like a really well-rounded race out there. It was entertaining from start to finish, and I'm pleasantly surprised by that. So good job, Charlotte, and I guess good job, Package. You actually did something. So, Tyler, what's your rating?
Yeah, I think you said it best once again, and you nailed down all the points. I'll give it an 8.5 as well. Obviously, I was there once again, and this was my 5th Coca-Cola 600, and it really just felt like the most complete race to me. I was just hoping and praying, like, I really don't want to go there, spend my time and money, and see a really dull-ass race. But that is not what we got. It got really tense late. I sure as hell didn't want to see Logano or Busch win. And, you know, Martin Truex got up there and stole the show. For a 600-mile race, it really didn't feel boring. We always dread the fact that it might not live up to anything. But day and night transition, the package, it just all seemed to come together. 2018, 2016, the races I've actually skipped, they were perfect decisions to do so for, and this was one I would have regretted missing. So I'm glad I didn't, and I'll take it. Great race. Kane?
I'm going to agree. I'm also going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's nice to see the Coke 600 not be completely dominated by one driver like it was with Kyle Busch last year and with Martin Truex Jr. back in 2016. A lot of comers and goers. Hell, I mean, how many drivers recovered from early race spins or, whacking the outside wall and still managed to finish in the top 10? You had, Truex, you had Stenhouse, Chris Buescher, and then obviously Chase Elliott recovered from his speeding penalty on pit road. So it was definitely a race that was filled with attrition. This is definitely a nice change of pace because it was definitely, as Tyler put it, satisfactory for this race this year. And hopefully they improve on it for next year's race because I can't wait to see how that's going to go. So moving on.
Yeah, that sums it up. Coca-Cola.
600.
60. I love me a Coke.
Orange vanilla?
Vanilla. Or regular Coke. They're all good flavors. This got cringy
I like
fast.
Cherry Coke.
Okay, fine.
All right, it is time to hand out some awards for the greatest weekend in racing. And as always, we start with that raging hard on the boner of the week. Nick, who gets it?
This week it goes to Christopher Bell in the Xfinity race. He once again had one of the best cars out there, actually won stage 1. Fell back a little bit, but was still kind of up front. But right at the end of stage 2, he blew a tire, and that sent him into the wall right at the same time as that was happening to Brandon Jones. But the difference is Brandon Jones and his team had a brain, and they pitted him, risking the penalty just to make sure they had a car to finish with. But Bell tried to go for the win and stay on the lead lap and try to not pit when pit road was closed and all that stuff, but that caused the tire to shred. The brake pads caught fire and everything, and he was done. There was nothing else he could do about it. Just such a boner move, because he had a winning car and he could have salvaged something, but instead they got greedy and they blew it. So sucks to suck, but that's how it goes sometimes. Next award.
The next award is the Day and Night from Hell, and that goes to old Dennis Hamlin, the driver of the FedEx Grand Toyota. Good Lord, he has had quite the month, blowing 2 tires. I mean, yeah, the JGR cars and Toyotas had problems with him, but he managed to do it on 2 different occasions. He's lucky that didn't put him out of the race, but that's not enough. He ended up wrecking on the final lap, completely destroying the front end of the car, just to top off a miserable 600 miles of racing for him. He ended up finishing in 17th, somehow still on the lead lap, but just not a good outing for old Danny. Next award.
All right, we are going to go straight to the cigars this week, and our first cigar from the Xfinity race goes to Tyler Reddick, who once again runs an absolutely clean race, and, well, a clean beast, to be honest, because he was running the Tame the Beast car that he debuted in the Cup race a couple weeks ago at Kansas. Reddick is on a roll. Congratulations. And then Jeffrey Earnhardt, he also had a problem, just like his 2 teammates. He spun out and fell a lap down, but he actually battled back to finish in 3rd, which is his first ever top 5 finish across NASCAR's 3 National Series. So congratulations to Jeffrey. And our final Xfinity cigar goes to the boy girl, Justin Haley, who also picked up his first top 5 in Xfinity by finishing in the 5th spot. And now, moving on to the Cup cigars. Nick?
Yeah, we got to give one to Martin Truex Jr., obviously. He won the race. It was his 3rd win of the season and 2nd Coca-Cola 600 victory. But obviously he slapped the wall early in the race, cut a tire off at turn 4. He didn't get a lot of damage from it, but he still scuffed it all up. But he had to work the whole rest of the race to recover, and then found himself in the lead and had basically just as good of a car as he would have had if he didn't hit the wall in the first place. And then he pulled away and got that 4-wide pass with 5 to go and won the race. He just kept fighting out there, and that's what got it done, so good job for Truex. Next, we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Man, he gets a cigar for good things. He finished 5th, and he was just crazy on restarts. I think he had some incentive to go after Kyle Busch because Kyle got into him early in the race, spun him out, and Stenhouse was just like, "Oh, I'm going to get that salty Snickers son of a bitch. Oh God, I missed him." But still, he had the motivation, and he didn't throw it all away when he very well could have, and got a top 5. So good job. Next, we have Chris Buescher. He finished right behind him in 6th. He was also one of those that cut a tire, hit the wall, but not too bad. He made up for it and kept on grilling. So good job for Chris. We have 2 more Cup cigars, another couple good underdogs. Tyler, take it away.
Absolutely. We have to give a call out to these guys that both finished on the lead lap. Corey LaJoie in 12th. Excellent result in that 32 car. Just kept it clean all race long, and, well, they came home with a real solid result. David Reagan, he finished 15th, and let me tell you, that is not reflective of how well they actually ran. He was a top 10 car for a decent amount of it, and had it not been for the poor decision, really, of staying out on the last restart, they probably would have just gotten a top 10 on merit. But either way, a 15th place finish on the lead lap is still a solid result for the front row guys. So there you go. That's your cigars. Enjoy them all. Smoke them. And maybe you probably shouldn't smoke them. They're bad for your health. Kids, don't smoke. Well, it's been quite a while since we've had a paint scheme montage, and we are coming back in a big way because obviously it was Memorial Day weekend. Patriotic schemes were out there, and there were a lot of really good looking ones. So without further ado, please enjoy.
We've always been red, white, and blue. Yeah, that's right. My daddy worked hard, and so have I. We paid our taxes and gave our lives to serve this great country. So what are they complaining about? Yeah, we love our families, we love our kids. You know it's love that makes us all so rich. That's where we're at. If they don't like it, they can just get the hell out. Yeah. My hair's turning white. My neck's always been red.
Well, those were pretty good. But, of course, if we're coming back in a big way with good cars, that means we have to have the worst paint schemes of the week as well. And it is quite the list. Oh, let's just get the ball rolling, Nick.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski's patriotic Miller Lite Mustang. Oh my God, they've run this scheme 3 years in a row, and it's arguably his worst patriotic scheme that he's run. He ran a good one in 2014, which Tyler actually made in the paint booth on NASCAR The Game. Did a great job with that. And he ran another good one in 2016. Those are examples of paint schemes that work. This one, 3 years in a row with this lame piece of crap? No offense to the troops, obviously, but this is not how you do it. It's just got this basic, boring geometric flag draped across the side, and that's it. Like, what are you going to do with this thing? Darrell Waltrip was really bugging me during the race because he's like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's got the stars and stripes and everything. Do no other cars in that race have good stars and stripes schemes? Come on. What are you looking at? That's all I got to say about that one. Let's just move on to the next one, please.
This one really makes me pretty salty. Maybe more so than the 2-car, because Ryan Newman's Oscar Mayer hot dogs Ford, damn! It's not much different than the regular Oscar Mayer car, which we've already shit on. I mean, with the frickin' deli fresh and get your sandwiches and whatnot. Now we have a bunch of hot dogs. And they have the audacity to basically call this a patriotic scheme, when all they did was just slap a little more red on the back and throw a little Canadian in there. And they have this big old reveal at Fort Bragg, I think it was, and just made a huge thing of it. Like, okay, great. Thanks for honoring a fallen soldier like everybody else is on the windshield of your car. But that has no tie into this paint scheme whatsoever. This is not really a patriotic car at all. Looks like ass. Probably more so than the regular one, because it's just insulting to look at. Dumb stars. The hot dogs probably suck ass anyways. I don't know. I just don't like it. Enjoy your 16th. We have more.
Yeah, back to me. William Byron had a Liberty patriotic paint scheme. It is a little better than the last one he ran. You can actually read the text a little better. But this paint scheme is just kind of confusing. It's a jumbled mess of stars and stripes. Some of them are curved on the front. Then you got the straight stripes near the back. Not to mention that both sides are kind of different. You can see that the right front has stripes where the left front has more stars. And they just didn't really know what direction to take this in. It's like each part of the car is a totally different scheme, and I don't like that. It's not cohesive. Not to mention you have to have something on the A-post, because why not? You just have a weird little piece of a stripe right there. I don't get these Hendrick cars. How do you mess up a patriotic car again? Come on. I can't take it. What's the last one's? It's a combo platter.
Oh, yes, it is, and it's a Rick Ware combo platter. Yeah, that's right. Rick Ware had 3 shit boxes entered this weekend, and all of them were based on former fighter jets or whatever, and they're just really poorly executed. You got Cody Ware in like a green fighter jet with like the shark teeth on it, which probably the best of the 3, but it just does not look good at all. And then Bailey Curry, it's just black. There's like literally nothing on the car except for like a star decal in front of the number, which that obviously chaps my ass. And then you got the stupid number font too. I mean, yeah, it's military themed, but it just looks like ass on the side of a Cup car. And then BJ McLeod running the new 3rd car, the 53. That one is based on the planes that the Tuskegee Airmen flew. Okay, great tribute. But again, it just looks terrible on a Cup car. Leave it where they belong, on the planes. Okay? Gosh. And to think, some of their regular paint schemes that they've been running this year have not looked bad at all. But this weekend, oh my God, this looks just like the big debut in the 2017 Daytona 500, like if not worse than that. Although I don't think anything can top our old pal George Spoonington. Let's be real here.
Oh, God, we have to have another reference of him? Please, don't do this to our eyes!
Forever in our hearts.
Forever in our hearts, yep.
And in your souls, with music. Foundation. Damn, that car is awful.
Yeah, well, these are just as bad.
Well, they sure are, and they're nothing like back in 1991 when they had the little Desert Storm spread of 5 cars, different teams. You know, that was actually cool, the different militaries coming together. There's always these ideas thrown out there with paint schemes. This was just not one that worked out. Sorry about your luck, but at least you were so far back in the field, we didn't have to see a whole lot of you. Actually, you were getting lapped a lot, and Martin Truex Jr. cleaned out one of your cars.
Looks good in the sky, not on the track.
Exactly.
Well, we have to recap a huge fantasy segment for the Memorial Day Challenge and obviously our regular Cup picks. So let's just go ahead and get into those first. Kane comes out as the winner. He picked Kyle Busch, who finished 3rd and got 59 points. I picked Chase Elliott, who finished 4th and got me 55 points. Damani picked the race winner, Martin Truex Jr., but only got 52 points. And Nick rounded out the rear with Kevin Harvick, who finished 10th and got 38 points. So now we go into the big old challenge, the Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500, and Coke 600. You already know the deal from last week. We all made picks. So the best average finish out of all of us was Kane with a 2.0. Damani had 3.0. Nick had 4.3. And I had a 10.3. Quickly to get through all the finishers, Lewis Hamilton won the race in Monaco. Sebastian Vettel got 2nd. Valtteri Bottas got 3rd. So we all got a podium finish there. In Indy, Nick won with Simon Pagenaud. Alex had Alexander Rossi, who got 2nd. Damani picked Will Power, who finished 5th. And I picked Marco Andretti. Shot myself in the foot, and he finished 26th. And obviously, you already know the Cup deal. So, Kane, it wasn't anything like last year in your perfection of the 100 points, but you still are the Memorial Day Challenge winner for the 2nd year in a row. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I thought I had a good shot there. You know, I mean, obviously picking Lewis was great, but man, I felt so gutted for Rossi, man. I mean, a lot of people said that he was the freaking show at Indy this year, just like last year, and I mean, especially after he looked like he flipped off Oriol Servia there on the front straightaway, like after he blocked him. That was freaking badass. I mean, you don't see that anywhere else but IndyCar, I think. That's all I gotta say about
you
that.
won.
Yeah, I just want to thank you. I can't believe it.
No, you don't. Well, damn. That was always fun. I hate that it's gone now. I gotta wait another year. Just tired of Kane winning things. Jeez. It was bad enough that he had to win the regular Cup. He had to win the whole damn challenge, too. Well, you're only getting 10. So while we're in the middle of a huge fantasy update, I think it's only necessary to recap the points. Kane still holds the lead at 517. Damani is 19 back. Nick is 39 back. And I'm having a whole bunch of fun in the cellar at 75 back. Hell yeah. Now we move on to the Cup Series event at Pocono, and we've got to make those normal selections. Nick, you finished last for the Coke 600, so who are you taking for the Tricky Triangle?
Oh, man. Well, I don't really want to, but I'm going with Kyle Busch.
Damn it!
Pocono used to not be a good track for him, but he's been on a real hot streak lately. He won the last 2 July races there, and he finished 3rd last June. He also led 239 total laps in the last 4 races there. Not to mention, he's still got a good finish in the Coke 600 after having some issues. So hopefully I can jinx him and he goes back to running like he used to at Pocono, but you can't deny he has the momentum. So Kyle frickin' Busch! Damani, who's your pick?
Squinty Dick!
Thank you, Damani. Tyler, who's your pick?
Well, gotta go with the hot hand, Martin Truex Jr. God damn it! Yeah, he's gonna win his 4th race of the year, and another one at Pocono. And, well, now he's gonna be Joe Gibbs' #1 bitch. Take over for Kyle Busch. So suck on that tit. Oh, wait, Kyle wouldn't like to do that. But either way, suck on something. You suck. Martin Truex Jr. gonna get that triangle. Kane?
Well, I'm going for the other guy who's had a great season, and that's Brad Keselowski.
God bless it.
This race practically screams Big Three. Obviously, the Big Three this year seem to be Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Brad Keselowski. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. It definitely didn't last year, and it easily will not this year. So, BK for the win.
Well, this has been another episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. Well, this is actually the end of an era for us because beginning next week, we will decide whether or not we're going to do an episode for each individual race. But at the end of every month, we're going to have a compilation episode where we have a big old awards deal and dive in on each race. And we haven't even figured it out yet. So we are looking forward to that. And it's just time to move on and continue to expand. And, you know, hopefully this is a better idea instead of having an individual show each week. You know, we've done every single points-paying Cup race since the 2017 Daytona 500. So that's a lot. Nearly 100. Obviously, we have over 100 episodes, a handful of specials in there, so it isn't exactly 100 races in a row, but we've come a long way, boys. I'm looking forward to the new chapter of Behind the Wall.
Yeah, me too. It's been a heck of a ride. I've really enjoyed it, but at the same time, you know, we've been doing it a long time, like you said, so I'm ready to slow it down just a little bit.
As much as it sucks that we're not going to be doing it as much, it is kind of a welcome break because obviously we all have lives that we got to get to and whatnot. So
either way, I'm looking forward to a new jam-packed show at the end of the month. I just think it'll be a really good way to have more of a video show, maybe less of just a general podcast. And that's really not what we've ever done here anyways. But, you know, we're going to keep our unorthodox style and hopefully it can be bigger and better than we've already made it. So, for Damani HD, Kane Jr. 88, Thermite 917, and myself, Provo 43, I didn't shit on you guys this week. But this has been another episode of Behind the Wall. You've been Behind the Wall. Thank you for listening.
lap 48, Matt Dibbin. Matt.
Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots.
Sorry, I killed you guys by the
And
way.
that. Yeah, I know.
You
Anyways.
son of a bitch.
I was looking for a picture, but okay.
Damn it!
Oh, come on. Failed to find
Wait,
compatible
whoa,
friends.
where's this? Where the fuck did this guy come from? Whoa,
What?
look at his green hair.
Whoa.
Okay, stop
Whoa,
punching
he
me
just
for a second.
disappeared. Whoa.
Dude,
he
what
he just disappeared.
What the fuck was that? But at the end of every month, what the hell was that?
He took a sip of his drink, I think.
I think so too, thank you.
Dun, dun.
Elliott finished fourth. Great run for him. I'm so excited at the end. I couldn't keep track.